Hello everyone, and welcome to another Pyro Gaming video. With today's update, the final triumph that has been locked behind a time gate is now active, and you can finish and acquire the almighty seal. The hidden triumph that we've all been waiting for is actually pretty straightforward. You have to complete a Seraph Tower public event without any of the enemies being on the plates whenever the balls come out. So I'm sure you guys have seen, whenever you do it right and there's no enemies on the plate, like 6 or 8, however many balls it is, come spraying out of the Seraph Tower. But if you mess up and there are enemies on it when those balls are supposed to come out, only 2 of them will come out of the Seraph Tower. If you get an instance where only 2 balls come out of your Seraph Tower throughout the course of the entire run, you failed this triumph and you will not get it. You cannot have any enemies on the tower squares whatsoever whenever the balls come out. I'm saying balls a lot. I hope you enjoy it. As for the public events themselves, they are also a little different. When you get to about 30% or thereabouts, you will then have to deal with 2 towers being active at once. And again, if they throw out 2 balls, you failed. So you need enough people in this patrol zone to cover 2 towers pretty much the entire time the event is active. Another noticeable difference in the public events now versus how they were literally yesterday and the entire time that they've been here is that now at the end of each wave, it's no longer an orange bar boss or a major, it is an actual boss, as in a yellow bar, and they are pretty tanky. The good news is it doesn't matter which destination you complete the Seraph Public Event Tower on. It can be Io, it can be EDZ like we're doing here, and it can also be the moon. I do think that Io is going to be the biggest pain in the ass because those legionaries come flying out of literally nowhere and land directly on the towers so often. For the EDZ one, the one that we did here, the only thing that really kind of got us, we got it on our second attempt. The only thing that got us on the first attempt is there are a lot of invisible enemies and you don't realize they are standing on the plates whenever the stuff is going on. Other than that, I've heard people say that the moon one is actually a little bit easier than the EDZ. I haven't done it personally. So let's talk about strategies, okay? So you might notice that we have 9 people in our instance here in Patrol. That's because me and 2 of my friends, Scaro9 and Lucky10p, loaded into an instance where we found 2 randoms in Patrol. We messaged those randoms, asked them if we could borrow their fire team. When they agreed, we started inviting in a ton of our friends to the randoms fire team. That allowed us to get 3 full fire teams of 3 apiece, which is 9 players, which is the most that you can have in any given patrol area at once. So we had our friends on 3 separate fire teams. That's why you see, like, I think Scaro's blue in here, my buddy Silas and my buddy CG, I think they're, blueberries in here too. That's because they were on a different fire team, but because they were in the same instance, we got to play together. Honestly, this is going to be your strat. It's going to be that. It's going to be call in a ton of frames and make sure that you have Orpheus rig tethers ready to go because there are a ton of enemies and those tethers are big time plays. As far as dealing with the bosses, Mountaintop Anarchy is always going to be good. Swords for the bosses that stay on the ground are really good, but when the big servitors come up later on in the activity, swords are pretty much useless against them. So you don't want everybody having swords. What we did was a split, like half of us had swords, half of us had Anarchy Mountaintop, and we ended up knocking it out on our second attempt, and it honestly wasn't all that bad. Just make sure that you keep spawning those heavy frames, make sure that you are tethering a lot of enemies. Hunters are definitely going to be the play here. I would even go as far as to say maybe Nova Bombs. Nova Bombs would be pretty good here too, helping out with those enemies. We also had a guy running around with Tractor, and it was helping somewhat with the bosses. But yeah, that's pretty much the advice that I have for you. Hopefully you guys are able to knock it out. If you go into an instance where you have a bunch of people in patrol, a bunch of randoms that you match with, hit them up, dude. Ask them what they're doing. See if they want to help you get this triumph. See if they'll let you borrow their fire team. Teamwork makes the dream work. I'm going to let this video play out. If you want to see the end, if you want to see the rewards, feel free to stick around, enjoy some classic music, and I will talk to you guys in the next video. But if you enjoyed this one, click like. If you're new to the channel, click subscribe. And if you're already subscribed, I fucking love you. Don't forget to follow me on twitch.tv/pyrogamingyt. I love you. Bye.